back to Grab Your Brew, and if you're new, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Do not forget about our free giveaway. The details of the giveaway you can find on our social medias. You can check out our Facebook page at Grab Your Brew and join our community. Also, for any video reactions, DM us at Grab Your Brew on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or you can email us, just label it reacts at grabyourbrew@gmail.com, as well as send us your creepy stories. Speaking of which, we are currently still working behind the scenes. The project we're working on is finding myths and either proving or debunking them. So it's super exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as we are making it. We are getting pretty close. Of course, it is time, money, research, a lot's going into it. But today, I am going to be reading you some creepy stories submitted by you guys. And we're going to start with, we have 2 stories of Felicity. And I believe I've heard the first one before and read it, but I'm going to read it anyway. Oh, ignore my skin, guys. Like, my skin is screaming no product, so I'm listening and letting it breathe. Okay, so we're going to start with the post from Felicity, a hiker. A hiker decided to go on a hike by himself, something he was not very used to. The whole day was pretty normal. Trees, bushes, engulfed his surroundings. He enjoyed being outdoors in the mountains. Nothing seemed strange to him, until it was time for him to start making his way back to the car. He figured after an 8-hour hike, that was good enough. I agree, that was good enough. The sky was already getting dark, and he needed to get back fast. What was odd was how much he didn't recognize the trail back. He began to panic. Night had already taken over, and all he had was a flashlight, and no clue how to get back. He knew it was already late and too dangerous to keep going through the forest. He began to worry that he would have no shelter for the night. When, almost luckily enough, he stumbled across a broken-down cabin. It was dark and seemed like no one had visited it in years, but he knew it was the only place where he could rest until daylight, especially since his flashlight was running out of battery. He knocked on the door a few times, but no one answered. So he let himself in, where, strangely enough, a perfect fitted bed for one person awaited him in the center. He knew that if the owner came back, he could explain himself. He was sure that the owner wouldn't mind, or was even possibly dead. This is like a Brothers Grimm version of Goldilocks and Three Bears. So he went ahead and got himself comfortable in the bed. As he tried to sleep, he couldn't ignore the collection of paintings around the room. Portraits of strange-looking people all peering at him, each one wearing a smile that sent chills down his spine. Ooh, I just remember the cover of that movie, Smile. It's so creepy. Not too long after, his exhaustion from his hike got the best of him, and he wasn't able to ignore it anymore. So he started to pass out and ignore the faces. The next morning, he got up early and was shocked to see that there was no paintings at all, but rather all around the room was windows. Ooh, that's creepy. You shouldn't be going to strange houses, but the same thing, if he fell asleep in the woods, those creepy faces may have got him. Okay, and the next one that was sent in by Felicity Heath is called The Red Wristband. A doctor was working at the hospital, a hospital where patients were tagged with coloured bands. Green, alive, red, deceased. I know this might sound silly, but I'm pretty sure that... Okay, let me not get too far into this. I worked in the hospital for way too long. Okay. One night, the doctor was instructed to get a few supplies from the basement of the hospital, and so he headed to the lift. The lift doors opened, and there was a patient inside, minding her own business. Patients are allowed to roam around the hospital to stretch, especially those who have stayed a long time. The rule was just to be back in their beds before 10. The doctor smiled at the patients before pressing the number for the basement. He found it unusual that the woman didn't have a button already pressed. He wondered if she was heading to the basement too. The lift finally reached the floor, where the doors opened. In the distance, a man was limping towards the elevator, and in a panic, the doctor slammed the elevator closed door button, and the elevator door slammed shut. It finally did, and the lift began to ascend back up. The doctor's heart was pounding. "Why did you do that?" "He was trying to use the lift," the woman stated, annoyed. "Did you see his wrist?" the doctor asked. "It was red. He died last night. I would know because I did his surgery." The woman lifted her wrist. He saw red. She smiled and said, "Like this one?" Do 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 do. Okay. Thank you for that submission, Felicity. We have another one from Jack Zingler. I do apologize if I mess anybody's names up. Okay. So the first one is called Till Death Do Us Part. For 3 years, Evelyn combed every shoreline near Deadwood Bay. Her husband Mason had gone missing during what was supposed to be a simple weekend fishing trip. His boat was found adrift, tackle scattered, a beer can bobbing beside it. No sign of a struggle, no sign of a trace, just gone. Mason had been a hard man, hard drinker, hard-fisted, hard to love. But Evelyn raised the gospel of loyalty and second chances. Stayed, she wore long sleeves in summer, and forgave what others begged her to flee from. His disappearance left her confused more than relieved. Grief came in waves, sometimes guilt, sometimes freedom, but always the aching of absence and closure. Then, just as quietly as he left, he returned. It was a late evening, the sky bleeding orange behind the hills, when Evelyn saw him standing at the edge of the driveway. Same weathered coat, same steel-toed boots. But there was something off. He smiled. Mason never smiled like that. He stepped into the house like a man who had never left, kissed her cheek softly, asked about the garden. Evelyn stood frozen, clutching the hem of her apron. He never once asked for a beer. Over the next few days, Evelyn watched him. He cleaned up after himself, spoke gently, slept soundly. No swearing at the TV, no late-night rages, no smell of whiskey on his breath. He read books. He said please. Once he offered to cook dinner and made rosemary chicken. The man wore her husband's skin, but not his shadow. "You feel different," she said one night, gripping her mug tight. Like you were remade? He looked at her for a long moment, then said, I think I was. That night she snuck out to the shed and dug through his old tackle box. Inside, beneath the rusted lore and tangled lines, she found something she hadn't expected. His old wedding ring, scratched and dulled. He was still wearing a ring, but this one looked brand new. The next day she drove into town and asked around. All the sheriff could do was shrug. Walked in like he owned the place, no ID, no explanation, just said he was back, said the sheriff. So she asked him straight out, what happened out there in the water? He stirred his tea and said, I drowned. Silence. I remember the cold pulling me down, something wrapping around my leg. Then I woke up on a shore I'd never seen before. There were people, things there. They fixed me, said I had potential, that I could be better, that the old me was broken. He met her eyes for the first time. She saw something beneath his calm. Fear. I think they kept part of me, and maybe gave me something else in return. Evelyn stood slowly, her skin crawling. You're not Mason. I'm what he could have been, he whispered. She didn't run, she didn't scream. She just nodded and left the room. That night she didn't sleep. In the morning she made 2 cups of coffee, one black, one with creamy sugar. She placed the sugared one before him. He sipped it without comment. Mason hated sugar in his coffee. She stared at the man across the table and smiled faintly. Whoever, or whatever, he was, she wasn't sure if she wanted the real Mason back anymore. I didn't think after those experiences I would want the real Mason back anymore either. This one was submitted by Tinker Dreams of Wings. The title is God Forgives, but the Cat Remembers. Intriguing. Okay. After dying peacefully. Okay, we're getting right into it, I guess. After dying peacefully, I opened my eyes to a cat face inches from my own. I tried to shove it off me, but my hands passed through its body. The cat was translucent, lit from within a golden light. It was also floating over me. Welcome to the spirit wilds. I almost laughed. The cat had a high, child's voice. With a heavy lisp, I forced myself to my feet. Where am I? I asked. I thought. I died? Yes. The cat flickered an ear at me. You're a spirit, and I'm your guide to the afterlife. It stretched shining claws, clutching at nothing as its back arched and tail curled. Then it suddenly thought of a tree. Okay. Wait, I said. Where are you going? To the afterlife. Hurry up. After I followed my odd guide, I took in my surroundings. I was in an old grown forest. The ground was carpeted with purple flowers, petals turned inwards as if guiding tiny hearts. Stems and curling leaves nodded at me. But when I looked more carefully, stems grew out of leaves, twisting in impossible ways. Smooth, braided tree trunks rose endlessly, disappearing into nothing. Nestled among the trees 100 yards away was a column of white light. We turned away from it. Shouldn't I be going towards the light? I asked. A trap, the cat said, by She-Hun, eater of souls. Come with me to safety. A sense of déjà vu tickled my mind. Where have I heard that before? As I continued to follow the cat, I thought back, discovering a blank expanse where my memories should have been. All I had was a lingering sense of my last breath slipping from a spent body. As the overgrown thickness, the déjà vu just intensified. A remote forest, a high, lisping voice. Come with me to safety. Suddenly the cat stopped. It tucked its paws under its body, arranging itself into a media loaf. Here, it said. I took a confused step back. Where? A twig cracked and the ground gave way. I fell, landing painfully at the bottom of a pit. The cat drifted down to hover over me. Do you remember Jenny? It asked. Jenny, the girl with the lisp. The memories rushed back. Jenny came to the forest every day to feed a stray cat. When she got lost, I saw a chance to live out my darkest fantasies. Come with me to safety, I said, as I led her deeper into the forest. Forest home never even reported her missing. The cat's body started to deteriorate, golden freckles drifting off of it. God allows all his creations into the light, it said, saints and sinners alike. So I waited here 40 years to lure you away from the light and into one of Shin-Hun's mouths. All that was left of the cat was its face. Its whiskers twitched disdainfully. God may forgive, but I never forgot. And the cat disappeared, and the pit began to breathe. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have been a murderer. Well, guys, that is all of the stories we have for today. Please submit your stories, your creepiest, most unhinged stories or memories. Just let me know if they are real or if they're ones that you made up or ones you came across. Just email them to grabyourbrew@gmail.com, or you can DM us on our Facebook group at Grabby Brew, or DM us on Instagram also at Grabby Brew. If you're not grabbing the brew, it's not us. Anyway, guys, enough of my boom boom dad jokes. I hope you have an amazing week. Oh, my skin is so upset with me. I hope you have an amazing week. Please, please, please like and subscribe so we can bring you better content. And yes, I hope you have an amazing week. Bye.